Boom, we're back, and today we're rolling at a new gym called Prodigy Martial Arts. This gym was awesome and I'm rolling against one of their brown belts. I'll have the full video out later where I show off all my rolls and the gym, but you're going to have to stay tuned for that one. Both of us are starting off slow because when you're going with a brand new person, it's always best to see what their style is like before you engage too hard. He went for a quick inversion trying to scoop up one of my heels, but I decided to sit down on my knees so I wouldn't have to deal with any of that buffoonery. Since this is one of the rare times I actually have a weight advantage over my opponent, I'm actually going to use it. I push my chest forward into him, then I go and dry looking for the guillotine. Because I use the shallow guillotine, that makes it a lot harder for him to try and take my back. I'm also pushing forward so he won't be able to climb out of this bad position, then I trick him by falling to my side so he thinks he may establish a sweep, but I actually lock up the guillotine just how I want it. My left arm is already under the chin, going for the neck, then I bring my right hand in as well. From here I just have to connect my hands, go back to guard, squeeze a little bit, and get an easy submission. Now what better way is there to start a roll off at a brand new gym than with a guillotine? It's even better when he told me that he watches my videos, so he should have seen it coming. Now as we go into the next round, you're probably thinking that I got my guillotine fetish in for the day, and if you actually think that, then clearly you're too new to the channel, and you may as well subscribe so you can see me do all my guillotines in other videos. But before I can try and guillotine him once again, I'm going to have to start trying to pass this guard. Now because of the size difference, I want to really use my weight against him. I'm shoving my head into his neck and I want to get him flat on his back by using my chest pressure and keeping my legs extended. The more I can sprawl with my legs, it's going to apply more pressure to his hips and it'll be easier to pass his guard, or it's going to force him to move a little bit because he's very uncomfortable. He's able to push me back into butterfly guard way too easily because I wasn't pinching with my left knee. Giving any space for the hips is a bad idea if you're trying to lock them down. That was my mistake and now I'm going to have to try and regain that position. But the first issue I have to deal with is that he has double underhooks on me. I bring my hands in at a 45-degree angle so I can start to apply pressure towards his neck to break the grip. Then I look to test his wrestling by standing up. It was awesome to see that he was willing to stand up with me so we can both engage in the wrestling versus him just playing guard. Now I absolutely love this next attack by him. He tries to jump up and grab my neck for the guillotine. But it must have been cold in the gym because my head was starting to shrivel up and retract itself. As he went for the guillotine, because my head was so tight, I could fight his hands off and then circle out so I wouldn't have to worry about this choking pressure. But overall, I rate that attempt a 10 out of 10. I want to try that in a future video. He follows up with another attack on me by going for a single leg, but I hit him with the fastest snap in the world to latch up onto a guillotine and get the tap as he starts turning over. Watch my right hand on the back of his head club him so I can push him into the guillotine. That was slowed down and it still looked way faster than most moves you'll see in Jiu Jitsu. It was a nice way to keep his head nice and tight, and by turning him towards the side with the shallow grip, it was an easy submission and I could have forced mount if he didn't tap out. But since you saw 2 guillotines in one video, you're going to press like, otherwise you're going to face that guillotine power in your next roll. Now for the question of the day, since 6 months have passed since I last asked, what is your current rank? I'd love to see how the viewers are ranking up in their own jiu-jitsu journey, so let me know in the comments below what rank you're currently sitting at. I loved how active my opponent was on bottom. He attempted to go for an arm drag on me, which gave me the opportunity to hit him with a reverse arm drag, and even though our positions didn't change in the end, it's fun to try new things, especially when you're visiting other gyms. My opponent sits to his left hip with the De La Hiva, and he could go towards a rolling back take. I made a mistake by falling to my right hip at the same time because with a better opponent, that's when you're going to have your back taken. My weight helped me out a lot here, but I have to make sure not to make that mistake in the future. My opponent works up just enough that he's going to try and attempt a scissor sweep. Then he follows it up by going towards the guillotine. But just like before, my head shrivels up and I do a little bit of hand fighting to defend. Now we work in the guard for a little bit before he starts bringing his right hand in towards my tricep. Naturally this means that he's going to go towards an arm drag. So he scoops up my tricep and I also scoop up his. Then I'm going to start splitting his guard by pushing down the leg and bringing my left knee up. He has a good response to try and push me away, but this allows me to scoop up on his leg and I try and attempt a calf slicer with just my hands. It doesn't quite work, but it did a nice job of letting me maintain control on top, and at least now I don't have to deal with the closed guard, because I absolutely hate being in somebody's closed guard since only one person can actually go for submissions. He pushes away to make some space and now he's playing seated guard. I want to try and scoop up his head, but you can tell he's learning because the second I touch it, he falls to his back and now he's trying to overhook me and he pulls me into closed guard once again. It's a wise choice to bring your neck down to the mat as fast as you can, and now we're dealing with the closed guard. He attempts to hit a hip in sweep and then he goes towards the guillotine, but I time it well and I try to hop past the guard at the same time, but I'm only able to establish half guard. Once my right arm can reach up towards his neck, then I can pass the guard easily and I continue to smash him by pushing my chest forward and flattening him out. Now he moves both of his arms so that he has 2 arms underneath me. This immediately tells me that he's trying to go for the ghost escape, so we can see that I switch my hips and how they're placed. I also would like to bring his head over my knee because that'll kill his bridge immediately. He keeps his neck flat so I'm not able to lift it, then he tries to shuck me by, but I've established a strong lockdown that's going to be a lot harder to do, especially with my left shin. We can see him folding in towards his chest so he can't grab anything for shrimping, and then I bring my leg over his head. Now there is an easy way to escape this position for him. He has to go towards the front head, which typically is not the best position to be in, but it's definitely better than being in side control. As he works towards his knees, I shuffle behind his legs, but he catches me just in time that he can reestablish his guard, and it was a nice escape from him. I've been on top this entire time throughout the round, so I'm sure you guys want to see something different. I sit down to my butt and we get to see what he has up his sleeve. He pulls my legs up and then he hops over the guard in a fantastic way, but I continue to push against his hips to follow. I use my left hand to grab a collar tie so I can slow this guy down because I quickly saw he has a lot of speed behind him. I also make sure to pummel my way in. I bring my right hand in first for the underhook, then my left hand in. Once I have both established, I can start to work my head into his chin, elevate his legs so I can work out the back door, and I'm setting up the single leg X. I immediately transition into the heel hook, but I realize I won't get it. One of my favorite follow-ups is to push the butt so I can create enough space. From here I can bring my shin into the back of their leg, lock up that figure 4, and I finish with a calf slicer. There is no cleaner looking submission than a nice calf slicer, but if you want to continue to see clean submissions from me like that, you're going to have to make sure to subscribe to my channel. Don't forget that I'm currently editing the full gym tour of this gym. That video will be coming out soon, so I hope to see you in the next one. I appreciate all my current viewers and patrons.